Right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. I got a whole bunch of good corporate crypto news stuff for you today because we all love that corporate crypto news. That's the whole reason we got into crypto, right? Corporations, oh my. And I got a lot of boxes in the back because, making progress. And I'll be moving to that office sooner or later. And I know a couple of people were saying, hey, the volume is a little bit low, but I kind of got it going up and up and up every episode, but it's just too open in the dining room, and it doesn't like to collect that sound particularly well. So it'll be gone sooner or later. Either way, I want to say that Andreas Antonopoulos basically predicted Facebook coin 3 years ago on the Joe Rogan podcast. So I came across this recently, and there was a post about it, and I decided that I would include this in the video because it actually is pretty interesting. And I've been talking about corporate coins and how corporations are going to be sort of getting into crypto for quite a while now. I guess not as long as Andreas Antonopoulos, but this is pretty interesting. So we're going to listen to this real quick and then sort of talk more about Facebook coin and what I think about it.
And if you violate the terms and conditions, you are destitute.
Wow.
So the issue is not what we have today versus the digital currency of the future or Bitcoin or whatever. It's both futures are digital currency, and in both futures, cash will no longer exist. That is inevitable. We are going down that road, and now we have to choose. Do we go to the digital cashless society of corporate control over money with the complete and total merging of corporate and state money, where instead of having separation of state and money, you have the merging of state and money and corporation and money, where your money is branded money? You have Chase dollars. You have Goldman Sachs dollars. You have Coca-Cola dollars, right? You have money that is controlled by a corporation. Or do we go down the other future, where we have money that is basically an internet protocol that is completely global, that any person can pay any person. They meet in the streets without any corporations getting involved, just from me to you, digital cash. And that's really it's a less optimistic view because I'm fully aware of what the other future is. And it's
So now, of course, the podcast goes on for much longer, and Andreas Antonopoulos is always really nice to listen to, but that is basically the gist of it, and that's what I've been saying for at least half a year now, that corporations are really going to get into cryptocurrency soon. And like Andreas said, you're going to have a branded currency, and I really like that idea. So right now, we're going to have essentially Facebook coin and all of the other corporations that are running $10 million notes and gaining interest on a stable coin. Where is that interest coming from? From all the products and all the money that you're going to be pouring into it, of course. And so we have, a future ahead of us that we can, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to avoid just because so many people are going to be using these services. And again, I like to make the analogy that these are just digital coupons, that these are just digital tokens that could have already been done a long time ago and need no kind of algorithm or proof of work or any kind of cryptography function in them. And they could just easily be run on a centralized server, just like MasterCard essentially does. When you have $5,000 in your bank account and you spend $1,000, you now have 1,000 less credits. It doesn't matter if it's US dollars or euros or anything like that. All you have is a number in your bank account. There is no security deposit box. Well, I guess you suppose you could, but there is no section for your name in the bank where it just has the money. Sure, you can go there and get it, but really, it's just a number in your bank account. And with Facebook coin and all these corporations that are getting in on it, that you will be able to essentially buy Libra coin or Facebook coin or Zuckbucks, and they'll be able to spend it at these corporations. Now, that's analogous to a gift card. So now, you may have never thought about this, but how do corporations make a lot of money with gift cards? And if you can go to Walmart, or you can go to Subway, or you can go to Burger King, and you can buy a gift card. And why do they do that exactly? Just for the convenience? No, quite inconvenient for them to have to produce these and make these. The reason they make money off them is because if I give you a $20 Walmart gift card or something like that for your birthday, or Amazon or anything kind of of gift card, you're not just going to spend $20. More than likely, you're going to spend above $20 or below $20. So if I spend $18, I now have $2 left on this gift card. Well, that's going to incentivize me to come back at a later date, spend another $20, and then have them give them this gift card that only has $2 on it. And awesome, I got $2 off my next purchase. So that was free for me, but I ended up paying $18. Now, if I buy something that's $25, sure, I get $20 off because I had this gift card, but I went there and specifically spent $25. Also, there's the option C where you spend something that costs $19.72 or something like that. And are you really going to come back and spend that gift card that has like 30 cents left on it or less than 30 cents? Probably not. It's a waste of time for you to even pull that out of your wallet or your purse or whatever to get 30 cents off the next time you shop. I'm sure some people do. But again, they got $20 when you gave them when you bought the gift card, and you got $20. And I think that's kind of what Facebook Coin is. So if you have all these Facebook Coins, you're incentivized now to spend them at these specific retailers that are going to accept these. And you never ever spend the exact amount of coins that you have unless you specifically went and purchased that exact amount. And if you were going to do that, you might as well have used your bank card to begin with. So that is what these are. This is like, don't get this mistaken. Corporate coins are coming, and they will be everywhere within a few years. Everything will have some kind of corporate coin, or it will just tie into Libra coin as one big global system. So the organization has chosen to brand Libra, the state global cryptocurrency, and label the cryptocurrency has been replicated by media around the world. Yet Libra is not a cryptocurrency. Again, a coupon, a digital code, a gift card at best. First, let's take a look at why it's not a crypto. While definitions vary, one key characteristic of cryptos is their resistance to censorship. For this, they need to be decentralized enough to prevent any one group from deciding who gets to transact, and Libra doesn't fulfill that criteria. Furthermore, the value of Libra coin is not created by the underlying technology, the market math, or however you choose to understand Bitcoin or similar assets. It's a digital representation of a basket of fiat currencies and other securities, and what you put into it with your debit card when you go to buy into them. So what is it on the surface? It's a stable coin, a token that maintains a stable value via a peg to real world assets such as the fiat currencies or a commodity. The sector is currently awash with stablecoin projects building solutions for payments and settlements which are not yet live. And of those that have launched, a few outside of the US backed Tether have significant volume, although the market is still young and still shifting. And of course, it's hard to trust some of these stable coins because, again, when Tether wanted to, was going to be audited, coincidentally, they fired their auditor at the time. And you're like, oh, man, he must have been a bad auditor and they needed to get rid of him and hire a new one quick. No, they just didn't hire a new one. No. It's kind of like having a school and like you were like, oh man, people are like, hey, this school is dirty. Well, we better fire our janitor. Yeah, you guys should fire your janitor because the school is really dirty and the bathrooms are always dirty and the floors are always skiffed up and marked up and got mud all over them, right? And they're like, yeah, no. Well, we'll get rid of our janitor. And then they just didn't hire a new janitor. What? Right? That's literally Tether. Just throwing that out there. So financial innovation did not start when blockchain technology got a new lease of life through connected networks and decentralized consensus. Markets have been furiously evolving since there were markets, often in unexpected ways with unintended consequences. For all its features and faults, Libra represents a significant step forward in the process, and I'll admit it can be beneficial to crypto, and we are kind of going into a digital society. Well, we've been in one for quite a while, and I find it hard to believe that banks still take 7 days to transfer money, with ACH transfers and things like that. So financial inclusion, reducing payment friction is one of the consumed entrepreneurial minds for decades. And while this may not be the solution the world is waiting for, it's at least pushing in the conversation forward in constructive ways. So again, we have JPM coin, Andreas in the show was like, hey, you'll have Chase coin and you'll have this coin and that coin. And those make a lot of sense. Now, we haven't had those yet. Of course, we have JPM coin, I think coming soon. Or it's only for institutional investors anyway that are part of their $6 trillion a day transfer system. And what those are is just a digital IOU, because it's still going to take that time to transfer money through. If one bank says, "Hey, we need $1 billion," that, you know, and then they send them JPM coin. Well, now they have $1 billion, essentially an IOU. Of course, those JPM coins are worth nothing, but it does mean, hey, that bank is now owed $1 billion, and we can move these in an instant, and we'll move the money when it's absolutely necessary later on. But we can now credit the money instantly with these essentially digital IOUs. So moving on to more political crypto news. 2020 Bitcoin President Andrew Yang pledges fun with crypto in the White House. Now, this article is a little bit older. I think it's from last month or 2 months ago. But Andrew Yang has been going around, and he's a Democratic president, some entrepreneur, and I'm not trying to necessarily shill Andrew Yang here, but one of big Andrew Yang's, he's pro Bitcoin, and another thing that he has is, in his repertoire, I guess, is a $1,000 a month for every American citizen over the age of 18. So essentially, the freedom dividend, or whatever you want to call it. And I wanted to read this article and then talk about, you know, how that could essentially, how Andrew Yang, if he was president, could essentially make Bitcoin explode. So, you know, get ready for that if he actually becomes president. Now, the likeliness of him becoming president, I really don't know. Not my forte. Yang might be preaching to the converted at consensus, but he's also taking his pro-Bitcoin stance on the campaign trail. He published a clear manifesto on Bitcoin regulation as part of his campaign. He says, create clear guidelines in the digital asset world so that business and individuals can invest and innovate in the area without fear of regulatory shift. Yang has opened up his platform to Bitcoin and crypto donations. He even tweeted about it back as far as 2013. I sense the Bitcoin correction will make some fellows nervous. And he tweeted that all the way back in 2013 when I think Bitcoin might have been like 1,200 at the time. I have to take a look at the charts, but talking about a correction. So speaking to Bloomberg, he said consumer protection is also a key issue. We just need to provide rules of the road. He was also critical of the New York Bit license, which had a chilling effect on the U.S. digital asset market. So Andrew Yang is definitely a long shot in the field, led by elder statesmen Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. But Yang has garnered a huge following online after appearing on the Joe Rogan podcast and others. As Time reports, his online following is beginning to turn into huge real-world crowds. So one thing about Bitcoin regulation and crypto regulation would mean a lot more institutional investors can come in, because these institutional investors are bringing in millions, billions of dollars, and they need regulation to actually do that. If they just start doing it, one, it'll either be illegal and shut down, or it could twist one way or the other, and they could lose billions of dollars. So they're not going to do that. They're a little too smart for that. So if regulation came into play, we could actually have a lot more big investment into cryptocurrencies, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. So another thing is the $1,000 a month that Yang is promising to Americans could have an incredible explosion in the price of Bitcoin. So if you have you and your wife in a house over the age of 18, that's $2,000 a month for the household. He plans on taking money from Amazon and yada yada. So I'm not really here to talk about those politics, just that $1,000. And that $1,000 a month will go into a lot of Bitcoin investing. If you got $1,000 a month, would you buy a little bit of extra crypto every month? Probably. A lot of you would. And so that's certainly going to raise the price. So, you know, if he starts to gain traction and you start to see him maybe possibly winning the U.S. election, that could be a worldwide explosion of Bitcoin, even if you're not in America. So that means a lot more Americans would be buying Bitcoin because of that extra $1,000 a month. So I figured I would throw that out there, that there is that potential for Bitcoin to increase in price, because if people are receiving money, they're going to invest it, or they're going to spend it in some way, shape, or form. And a lot of that will probably be on crypto. So moving on to the final article here, Venezuela's Maduro orders top bank to make Petro available to the public. So you remember the Petro? This is the perfect example of a government cryptocurrency trying to essentially take over a nation that is in absolute crisis with inflation. and it's not working so good. So Venezuela's president, I can talk today, Maduro has ordered one of the nation's largest banks to allow customers to access his controversial cryptocurrency, the Petro. The Venezuela Ministry of Finance tweeted the news on Wednesday at an event marking the 10th anniversary of the Bank of Venezuela. So I give the express order for transaction counters for the Petro to be opened in all Bank of Venezuela agencies. While there are no other details available so far, the move is presumably aimed to allow BOV customers to buy and deposit Petros. Move comes as the latest effort by the president to force Venezuelan institutions to boost the use of his crypto pet project, which is just mind-blowing. If you remember some of my older videos, it was backed by oil, and then it was like, no, we're going to back it by like gold and diamonds and oil, and then no, we're going to back it by like even more things. So they're just like throwing in this basket of randomly volatile stuff that's always volatile, like oil and gold, not so much, and maybe diamonds a little bit. But, basically like backing something by oil is probably not the best idea. Do you know how much oil fluctuates all the time? Just take a look at like the stock of like crude oil. It's all over wacky. It goes up and down, left and right. It's like JR Business. They're up and then they're down. All these coins are lit, bro. XRP is gonna be the most decentralized coin. You know what I mean? Like bunch of nonsense like that. So again, this was a complete failure, and it boggles my mind how this is even possible. And a lot of the nations around the world essentially banned this. They tried to get India. They tried to convince India, hey, we'll give you crude oil. Like we'll give you crude oil for cheaper if you just buy Petro. If you buy our crude oil and Petro, we'll give you a big discount. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that, because nobody even knows what the Petro is. Nobody even knows if it's real. And again, that's the problem. I mean, you think a central bank is bad with fiat, like in America or basically any other nation. Try a cryptocurrency that you can't see anything at all. So, hey, at least we got fiat currency. Yeah, fiat currency. Hey, at least it's not the Petro. Moving on to coin market cap. $320 billion market cap, 11,209 Bitcoin. And still trading pretty much sideways. We've been at 11,400, 200-ish for a couple days now, and not seeing too much movement, but 62.4% Bitcoin dominance. And that dominance is going down just a little bit. I think a few days ago we were at 64%. We can actually take a look at the dominance chart here to see if like alts are going up. So if the dominance goes down, alts are typically going up. So we could look at the 7-day chart, and pretty much the same. So Bitcoin dominance staying just about where it needs to be. But the all-time high, you can see the Bitcoin dominance was, of course, incredible back in 2013 and 2014. But ever since, it's been losing a little bit over time. And after the 2017 crash, it really actually held its value a lot more than the other coins. So, as far as Bitcoin going up and making you the most gains, it probably is not going to make you the most gains, but it is one of the safer bets, as a lot of the other altcoins crash a lot harder, especially Litecoin went down to $22 when it was at a high of 350, which is way worse than Bitcoin ever did. But that's about all I have for you guys today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, helps me out a lot. My social media in the description below. Give me a follow on all those if you get the opportunity to do so. But hope you enjoyed it, and as usual, I will see you guys next time.